Hey, this is Josh Gwynn with joshgwynn.com and Redline Academy. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get the top tips to get a resume that can get you a six-figure job. So we're actually going to use my resume as an example that I used about a year and a half ago to get the job that I currently have, which is my favorite job that I've ever had. It's also the highest paying job that I've ever had. So I'm going to show you how the things on my resume that I used to get this job that I think work particularly well for getting this job. So without further delay, let me go ahead and jump into this resume template. So here's the resume template that I used, and this is a little bit different than the resume templates that I've used in the past. And so I'm going to go through this template and kind of show you why this one works really well. And at the end or below this video, I'll give you a link to where you can get this template if you'd like to get it. This resume template is something that I paid somebody to create for me. It cost $211, and I got this resume template, I got a cover letter template, and I got a references template that all matched. So now, that being said, I don't think you need to pay $211 and have somebody write a resume for you, but I do think that you should use a template to start, because otherwise you're going to waste a lot of time trying to recreate a resume that you can use a template like this and just copy and paste. So again, I'll put a link below this video. If you want to get this template, you can get this template, but I definitely think you should start with a template. Don't just start from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the tips here. So the first tip, tip number one, is use a template. Again, don't start from scratch and try to copy this resume from what you see on your screen. Just get a template that looks like this or something similar if you prefer something different. And that way you can come in here, you can copy and paste, your job, your company, your job title, your results, things like that. So you can just basically use this one. It's going to save you a lot of time that you would otherwise use. You can use, if you use a template, you have a lot of extra time that you can use to apply to companies, which is going to net you a lot better result than spending a lot of time recreating this template. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is to make sure your information, your contact information, is professional and easy to find. When the larger companies out there are getting hundreds, if not thousands, of resumes a day, and so the person that's looking at your resume, I've seen numbers on this, spends an average of 6 seconds before evaluating your resume. So your contact information needs to be very easy to find. It needs to be at the top of the page, so you can see all of my contact information is right here. The other thing that your contact information needs to be is your email needs to be professional. So your first name, your last name at gmail.com is perfect. If that's taken, your first name, your last name, 1 at gmail.com or something of that nature. Get it how you live at gmail.com. While maybe appropriate in some circumstances, certainly not what you want to use on a professional resume. At least that's my recommendation. So that's tip number two, is to make sure your contact information is at the top of your resume, very easy to find. Tip number three is something that's new from the time that I finished school till now, and that's to use a career profile section or career summary section. You can see this right here. This used to be an objective section, which basically told companies what you were looking for. The difference is now what works more effectively is to tell companies what you can offer them. So you're switching from a what you want mindset to a what you can offer, how you can benefit these companies mentality. So that's what a career summary does. So you can see that my career summary has the amount of experience that I have. It has keywords that the job posts that I would be applying to would have, so such as digital marketing or sales leadership. I'm going to include these keywords in this career summary. It's also going to have specific numbers. So if I'm applying for a marketing job and I increased sales by 26.5 million, that's something that I definitely want to put in my career summary. Now, I may have this in my professional experience as well, and in fact I do, but if somebody doesn't make it down this far on the resume, I want something in here that's going to grab their attention. So So that's, kind of gets into my next tips, which are, utilize keywords that are listed in the job that you are applying for. So you can see that here, leadership, interpersonal, and analytical skills. These are all skills. These are all keywords that are going to be in the job that I'm applying for. I've even gone a step further and put bullet points. So you can see that I have 12 bullet points down here that talk about the specific skills that I would need, and these are keywords that the job description that I would be applying for would have. So, anybody that's looking for somebody in marketing is going to have business development, SEO and SEM, Google Analytics and AdWords certified. So these are keywords that would be in the job description. So my recommendation to you is to look at the job description for the job that you're applying for and tailor this career summary section to have the keywords for that specific job. So whatever that job describes as the skills that are required for that job, you want to add those keywords into this career summary section. And what that's going to do, it's going to make your resume stand out in when there's software that's sorting through resumes, then yours is going to go into the keep pile rather than the discard pile because you don't have any of those keywords. So that's the next tip. So that was tip number 4 or 5. I think it was actually number 5. So we're going to go on tip number 6 is to make sure the first 2 sections of your resume go boom. Now, what I mean by that is you want to make sure if somebody's reading your resume for 6 seconds on average, you want to make sure that the career summary section, and if they get down to this first line of professional experience, this first job that you've had, you want to make sure these sections grab their attention. Which again, that's why I recommend putting the keywords that are specific to that job in your career summary section, as well as putting specific numbers. So not only are you going to put specific numbers for things that you've done in your career summary section, but you're going to put it in each piece of your experience. So your professional experience should have specific numbers. So if you increased your company's annual revenue by 306%, that would be something that you would put in here. You would absolutely put in that you increased the company's website traffic by 27.4% for a company with over 300 million in sales, or 125.6% year-over-year increase in client sales and leads. Now, you may not have these exact types of numbers for the job that you did, but there should be some type of numbers or percentage increases that you can show. Maybe you saved a company 30 hours of time, things like that you can include in your resume section, because you want to be able to, this company to be able to see what you can do for them, to picture what you can do for them, but also numbers grab attention. So they're going to grab eyeballs, and that's what I mean when I say the first 2 sections of your resume should go boom. So that we're kind of getting to my next tip with this. Use specific numbers in your resume experience. So that would be tip number 7. Make sure you're using specific numbers. So you can see numbers here. You can see numbers all throughout my resume. Again, they grab attention and they tell a company what you're going to be able to do for them. So tip number 8, and this is something that is fairly new to me, that I really like using: bold the numbers. So tip number 8 is bold these numbers. It's going to make them stand out even further. Don't bold, other text or your whole resume, because it looks like you're yelling when you bold numbers. But bold numbers to make them stand out. So use this kind of sparingly, but when you have numbers that you want to highlight, that you want to draw attention to, bold those numbers. So that's tip number 8. Tip number 9 is to, on your work experience, limit your work experience to going back 10 years. So you can actually see that I went back exactly 10 years because I got this job in 2017, but go back 10 years. If you going back further than that, it's going to get a little cloudy how that experience 10 years or more ago can help with the position that you're in, unless it was a company, a company where the company name would add to your ability to do the job. If it were a Google or a Facebook or a YouTube and you worked for them or something like that, I would absolutely keep that in there. But only go back 10 years on your resume should be plenty sufficient. Tip number 10 on your resume is don't include your GPA. You can see that in my education and certifications, there is no GPA. If you are within 2 years of graduation, you might consider including your GPA. After that, I would say it's probably a moot point. But I can tell you that in my experience, nobody ever asked me for my resume in any job, even within 2 years of graduating from grad school. Nobody ever asked me for that at all. So that's tip number 10. Don't worry about including your GPA. Tip number 11, unless I've gotten off track here and lost count, tip number 11 is where we're at. Have a professional cover letter in references template to go with your resume. So make sure they look consistent. Make sure your cover letter and references template match your resume, and they look professional. But you may not get asked for these, but it's good to have them just in case you do. So here's an example of my cover letter template that I used for this specific job. So you can see that it matches my resume. It looks the header is exactly the same, and then it's a template that I can use to I use it consistently, but I changed the position and obviously the company name for each a job that I would be applying to. So everything else stays consistent. Again, this is where having a template is important. You don't want to have to rewrite this for every job. You just want to have to be able to change a few things. So again, if you want to get this resume and cover letter template, I'll put a link below this video to where you can get it. But definitely have a resume and cover letter template that are consistent. So that is tip number 11, and I guess tip number 12 too, is to make sure that they're consistent with your resume. So those are my top, I guess we went to 12 tips for getting a resume that can get you a 6-figure job. Use what you want from this video. Use a few of these things. Use all of these things if you'd like. These are things that, again, this resume here that you're looking at is battle tested. This is the one I use to get not only, again, the best job that I've had, but also the highest paying job that I've had. So, if you like this video, please give me a like. And let me know that you liked it. Also, in the comments section, if you would, let me know which specific tip helped you out the most, or which specific tip that you like the most. If you leave me a comment, just let me know which tip was worked the best for you, or which tip that you're going to use when you're done with this video. So thanks for watching. I hope this helped you, and stay tuned for more videos coming up.